Okay, welcome to your literacy lesson. Make sure you have got pen and paper in front of you ready to get going. Today, we are looking at using subjunctive to give advice. So we're going to be looking at using the subjunctive tone, using formal verbs, using colons to introduce a list, and also using conjunctions. That's going to be our focus areas for today. Right, first task that you've got to do is you've got these words here. You've got poison, infection, caution, malice, ambition, and vice. You are going to add the suffix "-shus" to these words to create adjectives. So before we do that, I'm going to go through these root words and tell you what they mean. So poison is something that can make you really poorly, that you're not supposed to sort of eat, that's bad for you. Infection is obviously an illness that you can catch from somebody else. Caution is being careful. Malice is being unkind or evil. Ambition is sort of having dreams for the future that you want to meet. And then vice comes from being quite wicked and evil again. So I want you to pause this video and I want you to have a go at adding the suffix "-shus" to the end of these words to make yourself an adjective. Off you go. Okay, I'm going to put the answer on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so poison becomes poisonous, infection becomes infectious, caution becomes cautious, malice becomes malicious, ambition becomes ambitious, and vice becomes vicious. Okay, so you'll have probably heard of all of those words. And make sure you've got those words written down somewhere because it is what you're going to have to use in your work today. Right, so we're going to look at a bit of part 3 of, we're going to read a little bit more of the story. So Kester, last time we heard, he was in the Oberheim. He got fed by the deer. The deer came with water in his mouth and he had to drink the water out of the deer's mouth. And he also came and gave him some berries as well. So we're going to read from here. I'm starting not to feel so great. A blinding pain flashes behind my eyes and my stomach keeps clenching. Each time it's more painful, but I just have to keep going, clinging onto a soaking fur. It's cold all around, but there's a strange heat flushing through my body, which I try not to think about. Think about the symptoms that he's got here and make sure you're making a note of them. For the first time on our journey, the stag nearly trips and I lurch to the side, my stomach heaving. I can see why. Suddenly there is fog behind us, fog ahead of us, fog everywhere I look, like boiling clouds streaming up from a kettle. Through the white, I notice the walls of our valley have closed in on us and the grass has turned to rock. The stag clatters over piles of loose stones. Our every move echoes around the steep walls. The general peers out of my pocket and tests the air. I do not like this valley of rock, he says. It is too easy for us to get crushed in such country. A valley of rock has been smashed and carved out of the earth. Through the curls of mist, I can see the shadows of crane arms drooped with dripping chains and digging machines pieced up with rust. On the far side, a steel cabin stands abandoned, the door hanging wide open, creaking gently in the wind. And everywhere piles and piles of glistening wet purple slate that begins to swim before my eyes until from behind the foggy clouds I hear a crack, the crack of one slate hitting another. Did you hear that? I whisper to the stag. He doesn't answer my question, but picks his way more slowly and carefully between the heaps of slippery slate and toffee-coloured puddles. The pigeons have disappeared above us, hidden behind layers of mist that are as white and as thin as tissues. Then there's another crack from the rocky sides of the valley stretching away over our heads. The stag stops, dead, not moving apart from his nose, sniffing the air. It's incredible how still he can make himself, as if he was made of the slate we stand on rather than flesh and blood. I am not made of slate though, and I can't help but sneeze, a sneeze that echoes off the rocks around us. The stag doesn't move or say a word. There is another crack, a crack made by something no further than 2 meters away. I think of the metal beast hunter van with a tinted windscreen and shiver. Then there's another crack, louder, nearer, definitely not accidental. Something is making the stones move. The stag just stands stock still, sniffing. There's a scrabbling noise behind us, the noise of something or someone sliding down the rocks. A pause and then another tiny landslide of pebbles. I freeze as much as I can, my breath caught in my throat. Come on, why don't you run away? A great stag never runs away from his fate. And then, to my amazement, he slowly clip-clops over the floor of smashed slate till we are facing the direction of the sound. I want to jump off and get out of the way, but I can't. I feel rooted to where I sit, paralysed by fear of what lurks in the grey mist. All is well, the stag says suddenly, but he's not speaking to us. He's speaking to the thing in the fog. All is well, he repeats. You may show yourself now. The swirls and puffs of fog begin to slowly lift into the air like a paper curtain. and stepping out from underneath is not a human beast hunter, more like a beast human hunter. Pale flecks of mud dotted his coal black head, his ears pinned back, and his tail trailing down behind him with exhaustion. It's the wolf cub from the ring of trees. Part 3. The man with the crutches. I shrink back, expecting the cub to jump up and lash out at the stag, but he doesn't do anything wolf-like at all. The total opposite, in fact. He shrinks into himself like he's frightened of us. Well tracked, young cub, says the stag. The wolf cub's green eyes dart nervously between the stag and me. I come in peace, noble wildness. I know you do, the stag replies, his deep voice bouncing off the rocks. I left in darkness after you. I left by the same hole in the ring of trees. I picked up your scent along the great open and by the first fold. Yes, yes. All this I know, says the stag. I smelt your scent from afar when I woke the boy from under the rock. He chuckles. I think perhaps you still have some way to go as a hunter. The wolf cub snaps and bares his teeth. I am a fine hunter. My father said I would grow up to be the greatest hunter of them all. I am not frightened of you. I am a guardian from the ring of trees. My father... He stops for a moment and gulps. How is your father? Asked the stag gently. We do not know. He tumbled into the valley and was lost from view. Anger flares suddenly in the cub's eyes. They have sworn to avenge him. Do you know that? The stag is not laughing now. He is listening. Yes, I can imagine. And you? What about you, cub? Do you wish to kill me now to avenge your father? And father will be avenged, says the cub quietly. He looks down at the wet slate beneath his paws. But he was wrong. We were all wrong. Even before the sunset after you fled, more of the wild had been lost to the berry eye. Now all the eagles are afflicted, and more of the badgers too. Everyone is so fearful. Some say that the end of all things is approaching, as in the dreams. He glances anxiously at the swirling sky above. The stag shakes his head. Not yet, cub, while blood still runs through these veins. So why have you come, if not to avenge your father? Because the wild I have sworn from, my first breath to protect, is dying, and I have come to help you in your quest, wildness. I slide up the stag and take a step towards the cub. I want to stroke him, but he suddenly growls, bristling. I jerk my hand away. But I will not help the human. I can never help a human, he snarls. Then you may not travel with us. We need the human's help. The wolf cub stares straight at me, eyes open wide. I hold my hands up in the air, trying to make peace. I want to help you, I promise, I say. I won't harm you. Ha, he says, his ears splayed. Have no fear of that, but you had better watch out for me. I will always be watching your back. I'm confused. Now the wolf cub is confused too, looking at the stag for advice. He tries again. No, I mean, that is, you should watch your back. That's all I'm saying. I will try, I say, trying not to let him see my smile as I get back on the stag. I can feel the cub watching my every move, and we wait. Finally, the stag breaks the silence. So, cub, will you join us all in peace? The wolf cub snorts and, glancing at me, licks his nose sulkily. In that case, you are most welcome, says the stag, nuzzling the cub softly on the top of his head. And then we are off again, marching back into the fog, the pigeons guiding us with their shouts and cries. The wolf cub trotting behind as if he had been with us all along, which in a way I suppose he has. He is quiet, though, treading suspiciously over the broken slates one by one, like they might suddenly attack him. There is a steady series of soft snores coming from my jacket pocket. I can't believe the general slept through the wolf cub arriving. I would give anything to be able to lie down and sleep now. My head is boiling and pounding at the same time, and every step the stag takes makes me want to throw up. The walls of rock give way to green slopes overgrown with rock rolls of spiky bush hidden beneath yellow flowers, which look nice but scratch at the stag's sides and my legs. As he picks his way along the path of muddy earth and roots, the ground rises steeply until we find ourselves on top of a small knoll overlooking a dark green forest and beyond. Poking out above the trees, only just visible against the grey sky, they're definitely there, dead ahead, a row of 6 chimneys. I have seen other houses and chimney tops throughout our journey, but this has something none of the others had. Smoke. Sparks start to fly in my brain. If there are smoking chimneys, then underneath them there must be a fire, and warmth, and perhaps a bed, not a rock, that I can lie on. I don't say all that, though. My head and stomach feel carved clean out, hollow, and every word is an effort. Look, smoke. The stag grunts and turns around before starting to clock back the way we have come, along the rocky ridge, heading once more into the low white mist. I grab the tufts of his mane. Wait! Where are you doing? You're going the wrong way. We do not know what we might find there. But I don't feel well, and I want to lie down. He stops and gives a long sigh. My animals are not well either, and if we do not find a cure for them, then we will all die. We cannot be discovered. This is a joke. Checking around for any sharp rocks and not seeing any, I bounce off him onto the hard ground, my head spinning as I do. The wolf cub ducks out of my way, ears pricking. The stag keeps on walking, but a few strides up ahead, he sighs and stops before turning round to glower at me. You forget when you're on top of him that he really is massive. I reach down and grab a dead branch off the ground, holding it like a sword. My hands might be tingling from the cold, but there's a fire burning in my stomach which rushes up my throat. A shower of sparks behind my eyes make me dizzy. Please, stag, I feel really sick. I'm the one going to die if you don't take me to the house. Then the stag speaks gently, soft. I wish he wasn't soft. You can't hit anything with a stick when it's been soft. Very well, we can rest here a while if you wish. I look at the stones jutting out of the spiky bushes. I don't want to lie in a rock. I want to lie in a bed. I need to lie down. He nods slowly, chewing, not saying a word. I try again. If you're worried about meeting people, well, you'll have to meet plenty of them in premium. I will enter your land to meet with your father and his magic, but first we must get there alive. The pigeon spluttered down onto his horns, blinking at me. You must understand. We do not trust other humans like we do you. Yes, don't trust me, human, says the white pigeon, popping up from the stag's back from nowhere. But there's a fire and I could get warm, I say, my head feeling dizzier and dizzier by the second. Yes, reply the grey pigeons, and humans only make fires so they can roast pigeons on them. That's the reason you made them to begin with. It is a great honour that we trust you at all, says the wolf cub, trying to copy the stag and sound older than he is. The old deer puts his foot down. He shakes his head gruffly, sending the pigeons tumbling off into the bushes, while the wolf cub cowers behind him. Enough of this. You are all behaving like fawns. We take another walk upon. And as I listen to them bicker, a thought charges up out of nowhere like a battering ram. The fire behind my eyes, the shake, the sickness in my stomach, the brain and my brain and body are burning up. I should have never gone near these animals. I should never have agreed to any of this or left the safety of the hall. There's a reason the countryside is abandoned and all the animals are gone. An infectious, deadly reason. And now I've got it. That's it. I've got the red eye. That's the only explanation. I drop the stick shaking and sweat trickles down my sides. I was wrong. I can't help you. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions here that hopefully you've written an answer through as I've been reading. So why does the wolf cub leave the wild? Well, he says that the wildness that he is sworn to protect, it's dying. All the animals have getting the red eye and they are all dying, so he's decided to leave to help the stag because it's the only way to protect the rest of the animals. What has happened to his father and why does he not avenge him? So his father fell off the cliff after he sort of lunged at the stag. He doesn't know what's happened to him yet. They don't know if he's all right. He's not come back up. The other wolves have sworn to avenge him, but he doesn't because he wants to save the animals, and he thinks that the only way of doing that is to help the stag, to help the wildness. And then obviously we'll see what happens with that later on. And then it says, what do you think is wrong with Kester? So Kester's clearly sick. He's got a headache, his stomach hurts, he's feeling really hot and feverish. So there's something wrong here. He's hot, he's got a headache, he's feverish, and he feels really weak and tired. So there's something wrong with him. But could he have the berry eye? Do we think he's got the same disease as the animals? I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you think. So Kester is in a world of confusion and doesn't know what is wrong with him. We are going to write a medical letter that will be posted out to the inhabitants of the island, helping them to diagnose themselves in case they have also got the illness that Kester's got, because Kester believes that he's got the berry eye or the red eye. So we're going to write a medical letter advising people of what to do if they've got these symptoms. So the symptoms of red eye. Well, what are the symptoms of red eye? Well, the main one is red eyes. What else are the other symptoms? Feeling unwell. Should we say there's a temperature? Anything else? Maybe a headache? Maybe aches and pains? Okay, so you can decide what you think the symptoms of red eye. So have a pause of this video and write down all the symptoms of red eye that you think there are. Pause this video and off you go. Right, we're going to move on then. So we've done our symptoms, so let's move on to our letter. So subjunctive tone. Subjunctive tone is a very formal way to give advice, and we're going to be looking at the verbs in sentences, okay? So we're looking at verbs. So the association suggests that you leave right straight away. So what's the verb in that sentence? What is the association doing in that sentence? They are suggesting. This is the verb suggest. So to make it in the subjunctive tone, we rewrite it without taking the s off the verb. So for example, it becomes the association suggests that you leave straight away. So to make that in the subjunctive tone, we remove the s from the verb, and that makes it more formal. So it's now a formal piece of advice. So we've removed the s, that's all we have to do. Okay. So now you've got 3 different ones here. I want you to pause this video, and I want you to go rewriting them in the subjunctive tone. So to find the verb and then remove the s, that's how you write them. Off you go, pause this video, and I'll put the answers on in a second. Okay, answers are coming on now. So the first one becomes de facto recommend that you and your family, and then we've got vacate, so that becomes vacate the area. Then it is essential that one takes precaution. So this one becomes, it is essential that one take precaution. And you can see straight away that is more formal. And then this one here says de facto suggests people leave the area, so it becomes de facto suggests people. I think my typing lessons are coming in handy. Managed to type without looking. People leave the area immediately. Okay, perfect. So we've done those ones. So then, how would you advise people to stay safe? So I want you to write down, what would you say to people to keep them safe? Write that down, and then I will have a go at putting some ideas down for you. Okay, I'm going to put some ideas down. I think we say they leave the area. Stay away from the animals. Stay out of the countryside. Come to premium, the city. Come to premium. So leave the area, stay away from the animals, stay out of the countryside, come to premium. Maybe don't eat anything that's in the wilderness. Don't eat any animals. Don't eat animals. Maybe that'll go. So that's how we're going to advise people to stay safe. So let's move on. So today now we're going to write a medical letter using subjunctive to give advice. So we're advising people. So it's going to be like, dear resident, de facto suggests that you leave the area immediately as the red eye is coming, or something like that. So I'm going to show you mine, and then we'll have a look for it. So this is mine here. Dear resident, as you are aware, the threat of the red eye continues. Whilst red eye has yet to spread to humans, it is only sensible to continue to be vigilant. If you are living outside of the quarantine zone, the association suggests that you leave straight away. So here we've got subjunctive tone. So if we put that in, just so you can see it. And this will help prevent the spread of the disease to humans. The association also strongly recommend, again, we've got subjunctive there. So also strongly recommend that you limit all contact with animals, including varmints. This will decrease your likelihood of catching this dangerous and deadly disease. It is essential one take precaution. Oh, that's from earlier, isn't it? That's another thing you can do. Why don't you just go and copy some of the sentences from earlier, so you're making sure you've got the subjunctive form. Okay, furthermore, if you suddenly fall ill from unknown causes, the association recommend you scrutinize the symptoms below. So then we've got, what we're going to have then is you're going to put, if your symptoms include, and you're going to put a colon there. So if your symptoms include colon, and then I want a bullet point list of all the different symptoms. So nausea, headaches, dizziness, high temperature, and severe stomach pain. Then we leave it with, the association strongly advise you to contact us immediately. We've got another one there that is also in the subjunctive. And then we just finish it with, yours sincerely, Factorium. And that is it. That's all you need to do today. So it's a formal letter. It needs to be very formal. Use subordinate conjunctions like whilst. Okay, here we've got whilst the red eye is yet to spread to humans. And then we've also got if for another complex sentence there. If your target is complex sentences, we need to make sure we're including these in our work. We've also got words like furthermore, which is just a good word to be using, or in addition. We've also got if less, it's another complex sentence. So in that small paragraph there, we have got quite a few, at least 1, 2, 3, 4 complex sentences in that small bit. So you need to make sure you are using complex sentences as well, just to up level your work. Right, that is your work for today. There'll be resources on the school website ready for you, so you can have a look at that, and that might help you out. And that's everything. Thank you very much for listening. And please send me your work when you're finished. See you later. Bye.